Hello viewers, Namaskar. Welcome to Moksha Media. By the by, you are with Moksha Hiramat. Most of you may not have heard the name of Meremindadeva. Meremindadeva is considered one of the 63 ancestors. Meremindadeva came from Tamil Nadu. Of course, he was the senior contemporary of Basavana. 63 ancestors are appeared in different times in different provinces of Indian subcontinent. Veerashaivas considered these 63 Sharanas as ancestors. These ancestors were devotees of Shiva. They were pure Shaivas, and pure Shaivas are also considered as Veerashaivas. So, Meremindadeva is considered as one of the 63 ancestors. He was from Chengunte in Tamil Nadu. He was a devotee of Shiva. He was a staunch follower of pure Shaivism. He was not afraid of anyone. Even he criticized the persons who claimed themselves as Sharanas. He did not hesitate to criticize such persons. Here, the example of Nambi Anna may be given. Nambi Anna was a rich businessman. He was very pomp and proud of his business, prosperity. He was a good singer. He led the life of pleasures, having wives. He claimed himself as a Sharana, but some people did not consider him as a Sharana, even though he had some of the qualities of Sharanas. One day, his ego was shown. It was a Valmeshwara temple in Tiruvarur. Meremindadeva and others were assembled in the temple to pray the god Shiva. At that time, Nambi Anna came to that temple. He went to the Garbhagudi of that temple without considering anyone. He entered into the sanctum sanctorium of that temple. Even he did not make a sign of salutation to the Sharanas assembled there, and Meremindadeva observed it. That the action of Nambi Anna enraged Meremindadeva. So he told that he was not a Sharana because he was not yet given up the egoism. When a Sharana did not give up egoism, he could not become a Sharana. And they created a hustle and bustle because most of them considered Nambiyanna as a Sharana. But the harsh criticism of Meremindadeva made them puzzled. And that Nambiyanna was also a very respected person in that region. So anyhow, then they came to conclusion what Nambiyanna did was not proper. When devotees of Shiva assembled there, he had to show them the due respect, but he had not done it. In addition to that, he was proud of his pomp and pride. So they came to conclusion, he came to conclusion that Nambiyanna was at fault. Of course, after that, Nambiyanna accepted it. This shows how the devotees of Shiva respected each other and to what extent that Meremindadeva criticized the people who claimed themselves as Sharanas. So, Meremindadeva was a staunch devotee of Shiva. He was not feared of anyone. He was also a Vachanakara. 110 Vachana composed by him are traced nowadays. And at the end of each Vachana, we can see the signature of the composer. It is a common characteristic of a Vachana form, So that is seen in Vachanas of Meremindadeva. His signature was Aigatadura Ramalingeshwara. Aigata means 5 elements. I means 5. Gata means elements. These 5 elements are earth, water, sky, air, and fire. And the body of a man is made of these 5 elements. The body is the village of these 5 elements. So when a person is made up of 5 elements, he would be away from Shiva. So one could identify the duality between Shiva and Jiva. In order to become a Sharana, in order to attain Aikya, Moksha, he had to give up these 5 elements and 5 evils. If a person did not give them up, he could not become a real Sharana, he could not become a real devotee of Shiva. When a person gives up these things, then only he could become a Shiva, he could become a Linga, he could be with Linga, he could be union with the Linga, and at the end one could become a Linga, a Shiva itself. That is the concept of pure Shaivism, that is Veerashaivism. Of course, that Meremindadeva was committed to that concept. So, he used the signature at the end of each Vachana, and the signature I have already told you, Aigatadura Ramalingeshwara. that Ramalingeshwara is a form of Shiva. And when we keep away from these 5 elements, automatically one will be near to God, that is Shiva, that is Ramalingeshwara. So in all of his vachanas, we can find this signature. If we go through the vachanas of Meremindadeva, we come to know to what extent those vachanas are powerful, to what extent he expressed his feelings and thoughts using very simple and effective words. Here, I would like to quote some of his vachanas. If you say gold is superior and earth inferior, if you say gold is superior and earth inferior, where will you place gold and melt it? If not in the earthen pot, where will you place gold and melt it? If not in the earthen pot? This is the manifest form for having faith in the transcendent and for knowing Aigatadura Ramalingeshwara Linga. So many people think that the gold is superior, earth is inferior. If you separate gold from the earth and earth from the gold, you will miss something. Because gold is the part and parcel of the earth. Gold is the product of the earth. And if you keep gold away from the earth, then you cannot melt down gold, because it requires the earthen pot. It requires the elements of the earth to be melted down. So, that gold is the manifest form of the earth. It is a transcendent one. So in order to know this, we should know the Aigataduru Ramalingeshwara Linga. Another one, if one knows oneself, knowledge of oneself is the Guru, oneself the Linga, one's faith the Jangama. Thus, if the three can come together, that is none other than Aigata Ramalingeshwara Linga. Here, self-realization is very important. If you realize yourself, then you come to know many things in the world. If you don't realize, that means you don't know anything in the world. And if you know yourself, then you will become a Guru. Self-realization itself is a Guru. If you know yourself, you will come to know Linga, you will understand Linga. And if you realize yourself, you keep faith on Jangama. That is, if you realize yourself, you come to know Guru, Linga and Jangama. When Guru, Linga and Jangama come together, then we can see the God, Shiva, that is Aigataduru Ramalingeshwara Linga. That is, knowing oneself is very important. So we say in Kannada, Arive Guru. That realization of ourselves, the realization of oneself is very important in the life of a man, and who realizes himself or herself, he would be near to the God. Those who are ours will become others, as we fight for woman, wealth and the world. Those who are ours will become others, as we fight for woman, wealth and the world. If we give up these three others, if we give up these three, others will become ours. Others will become ours. For one who knows and the one who is worldly, desire is the only difference. Be out of this duality to know Aigatadura Ramalingeshwara Linga. Here he creates a difference between others and ours. Here is a duality. When a man fights for a woman, when a man fights for wealth and worldly desires, automatically ours will become our others. That is, the persons very near to us will be far away from us when we desire for these things. That is the woman, wealth and the desires. When one gives up these three things, that is the woman, wealth and worldly desires, automatically others will become ours. Then there is no duality. That is, everyone will become oneself with others. If one gives up these three things, he will be near to God. So, here we have to know the difference between desire and the others. That the difference is the desire. So, if one gives up that desire, automatically there is no place for duality. When there is no duality, automatically one would be with Shiva. One would be unioned in Shiva and one would be Shiva himself. So that is why man should give up these desires and then only others becomes his and he becomes others. Then only the difference between ours and others will be disappeared and then only he would become God in the strictest sense. But giving up these worldly desires is not that much of easy as you think, It requires a cultivation. It requires a cultivation of culture and civilization. And it requires a cultivation of non-violence and truth. It requires cultivation of realizing oneself. It requires Guru who leads to Linga and which leads to Jangama. So when these three things come together, that is Guru, Linga, Jangama, then only man becomes near to man will be near to God and he will be union in God and ultimately he would become a God, he would become a Shiva itself. That is what we see in these things. That is why so many Sharanas, in order to be union with God and to become God, they follow Ashtavarna, Panchachara and Shatasthala. If one follows Ashtavarna, that is eightfold path, and 5 practices, and 6 sthalas, 6 stages in life, one could be union with God, one could be a God itself at the end. That is what so many Sharanas find. That is what so many Sharanas in the 12th century of Sharana movement fought for it. Of course, that Sharana movement was a unique movement in the history of world against the oppression, suppression, exploitation, gender, etc., etc. It voiced the voiceless. So Meremindadeva became one of them. He was not only that, he went to Kalyana, where he participated in a hall of experience, that is Anubhava Mandapa. It is the micro form of parliament, what we call parliament today, can be imagined in Anubhava Mandapa. That Meremindadeva heard of that Anubhava Mandapa. He went to Kalyana and he participated in Anubhava Mandapa, and there he expressed his opinions and thoughts. So everyone respected Meremindadeva, everyone considered him as one of the 63 ancestors. It shows to what extent Meremindadeva influenced the other persons and how he respected others and got respect from others, how he criticized the persons who were hypocrites, and how he was near Shiva, how he unioned with Shiva, how he became a Shiva at the end of it. So this is the unique personality of Meremindadeva. Dear viewers, share it and subscribe, and see you in the next episode. Namaskar.